Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. I'm your host, Will, here with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about, you guessed it, the New York Mets. Today's opening day for Major League Baseball. There was a game last night between the Yankees and Giants. I'm going to be talking about the Mets today. I do have a video I'm going to post later today as well. That is my MLB season predictions. It's going to have nothing to do with opening day. I've just not done it yet. But I want to talk about the Mets first. This is a video I've wanted to do for a while, but also kind of dreaded doing because I know that this is going to be something I'm very passionate about. And I needed to try and calm down because this happened over 3 months ago, almost at this point, almost 4 months ago. And that is, we're going to be talking about the Mets offseason and where the team is heading into this year, how I think about it, how I feel about the team. They're my favorite baseball team, and not just my favorite baseball team, they're my favorite sports team, period. So I have some very strong opinions on them, and without further ado, let's get into it. So the biggest thing this offseason was the Mets missed the playoffs last year by not beating the Marlins last game of the year or winning any one of the many games that they had leads on late in the year. First half of last year, the starting pitching was phenomenal, and then it just completely fell apart the second half. And the Reds ended up taking the last wild card spot from the Mets, who over their last 80 games, the Reds went 40 and 40 and got the last wild card because the Mets were so bad. And Pete Alonso was a free agent going into the offseason. So was Edwin Diaz. And the Mets, on back to back days in early December, let both of them walk out the door. I think it was on December 9th, Diaz signed with the Dodgers, who just won back to back World Series. And then the very next day, December 10th, Pete Alonso signed with the Baltimore Orioles. And this happening back to back days, this was the most mad I have ever been with the Mets. I have been through so many chokes of them missing the playoffs, choking in the playoffs, choking away the division. Just being complete failures, just not winning at all, being having issues financially. I've experienced so much heartbreak and so many things go wrong with the Mets, but this topped it all. This offseason, not signing Edwin Diaz, not signing Pete Alonso, two of your best relief pitcher, who's the best relief pitcher in baseball at this point, with Clase being out due to his betting on baseball. And Pete Alonso, who's one of the best home run hitters in the game, who last season became the Mets' all-time home run leader, you just let them walk out the door? Like, that was the most mad, and is still the most mad I've ever been with the Mets. And I'm really glad I didn't make the video back then because I might have said some other things. But I'm not fully over it. Like, it's ruined me going into this season with the Mets, and where I don't have high hopes for them. And part of me also is not really wanting to go watch them play or buy any merchandise this year because of it, because it is so mad. It is so infuriating that as a Mets fan, we don't have a single player who played their whole career with the Mets and went in the Hall of Fame. So many other teams have that. The Braves have it. The Braves have multiple players who did it. The Reds have it. Pirates have it. Yankees have it. There's all these teams that just have multiple guys that play their whole career with the team, was a Hall of Famer, went into the Hall of Fame. The Mets have had several of those guys, but they didn't play their whole career with the Mets. Tom Seaver should have been a lifelong Met. They traded him away to the Reds. That was a mistake. Um, Nolan Ryan would have never been a Met his whole career. I think part of him going on to the Astros helped him become or no, he went to the Angels first, helped him become the pitcher that he was, becoming that great pitcher. But Mike Piazza started with the Dodgers and then came to the Mets, but he went into the Hall of Fame as a Mets. Tom Seaver went into the Hall of Fame as a Met. David Wright was finally going to be that guy. Homegrown talent, this star player, gets MVP votes. He comes through clutch in the World Baseball Classic and gets the nickname Captain America. He's captain of the Mets. He's voted the face of MLB at one point. Great guy, great stand-up guy. Plays the game the right way. always with class, always treats the fans nicely, treats the media nicely. He's a leader in the clubhouse, becomes the Mets all-time leader in hits and up there in home runs, all-time leader in RBIs and runs scored. Just phenomenal guy all around, all these stats, and his career just gets sidelined with so many injuries, and especially spinal stenosis that eventually ends his career and ends it short of him being a Hall of Famer, where he was probably on track to be a Hall of Famer. No, I won't say probably, was on track to be a Hall of Famer. And his injuries just sidelined him and prevented him from finishing what should have been a Hall of Fame career as a lifelong Met. So we don't get him. Jacob deGrom comes along, the best pitcher in baseball. Phenomenal, great. Has some injuries. Questions on whether we should re-sign him, kind of understandable. We let him walk. A guy that I think if he can stay healthy with the Rangers, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer, and he will go in as a Met if he does go in. But he wasn't a lifelong Met, and I was so mad when we let him go. This takes the cake. This absolutely does. Now Edwin Diaz started with the Mariners, but he's been the best closer in baseball the last few years. He has the best walkout song of any pitcher, and the fans love him. He's been great, and he's part of the reason that our bullpen has been so good. Pete Alonso, though, is a fan favorite. He's the polar bear. He's the Mets' all-time home run leader. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. If he can stay healthy, he will be a Hall of I guarantee you he will hit 500 home runs and be a Hall of Famer. He'll get MVP votes. Extremely underrated. I don't know why Juan Soto was ranked ahead of him in the MVP voting last year. Pete Alonso was the whole reason the Mets were even in contention last year. The first half of the season, when everyone on the Mets team was batting like 200 or less with runners in scoring position, Pete Alonso was batting 340. Batting 340 with runners in scoring position. He batted 270 on the year and hit 38 home runs, drove in over 100 RBIs. He's drove in over 100 RBIs like what 4 or 5 times in his career. A few years ago, when Aaron Judge just had this phenomenal season, everyone's like Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball, which he arguably is. Pete Alonso was tied with him in RBIs. Now, part of that's because the Yankees batted Aaron Judge second in their lineup, but also Pete Alonso's really clutch. He drives in a lot of runs, and there's sometimes the Mets have him batting third. So, like, it's not like he's just batting fourth and has, Juan Soto's been in front of him all this time. No, like last year, Juan Soto batted fourth a lot of the time. Um, I, I don't understand it. And Steve Cohen and David Stearns are just like the idea of saying this is about winning and bettering the team. I don't think it is. I think it's about money, and I think it's maybe about personal relationship with Pete Alonso, maybe with Edwin Diaz. I don't understand. They didn't even give Pete Alonso an offer. To me, that is the issue here, and to me it is hung over the entire offseason because even though we went out and signed Bo Bichette, which I think is a great signing, we went out and got what were our other acquisitions? I got other acquisitions here in front of us. Went out and traded for Freddie Peralta from the Brewers and got Tobias Myers as well, giving up Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams. I wasn't a fan of giving up those guys from the minors. We got Luis Robert from the White Sox for Luis. We traded Luis Angel Acuna and right-handed pitcher Truman Polly. We went out and signed Devin Williams to a 3-year, $51 million deal. We signed Bo Bichette to a 3-year, $126 million deal. Signed infielder Jorge Polanco, which I think is a good ad. Got right-handed pitcher Luke Weaver, right-handed pitcher Luis Garcia, and outfielder MJ Melendez. As well as acquired a lot of other talent, and I think the team, I think, has done okay talent-wise. And if the starting pitching can be healthy, and with Nolan McLean perhaps being a breakout star this year, I think the Mets could have a really good season. But my issue again is letting Pete Alonso walk. Like he was your best hitter. I don't care what people think of Juan Soto and how great he is. Pete Alonso was the best hitter on the Mets last year. He hit nearly 40 home runs, drove in 100 RBIs, batted 270 the whole year. Juan Soto batted like around 200 for a majority of the year, and then kicked it into overdrive in the last half of the season and got to like 250 and hit like 30 home runs. Down year for him. But Pete Alonso's your homegrown talent that everyone loves that just became your all-time home run leader, and you're gonna let that guy walk? And I don't get it either. Like he's like the last 3 years, I think he leads Major League Baseball in games played. The guy doesn't miss. Pete Alonso, he doesn't miss. There's no controversies around him. He hits home runs and is a pretty good hitter. Is it the way? Is it his attitude in the clubhouse? Did Steve Cohen not get along with him, or is it just how the negotiation broke down for an extension? I don't know, but it pisses me off. It really does. It is extremely unfortunate that this is how it shaped out because Pete Alonso is my favorite Major League Baseball player right now, and it really makes me so mad that we didn't re-sign him, and it's hung on the entire offseason. Like I said, we just had all these great signings. Jorge Polanco would be a great middle infielder, a great second baseman for us. Bo Bichette is going to play probably slot in and play third base a lot, maybe second some. He's a really good, I think, underrated hitter in the game. Devin Williams is a good relief pitcher, even though I don't think he's as good as Diaz. And getting Freddie Peralta from the Brewers, I think he's a good starting pitcher. You got to be able to re-sign him though because he's on a 1 year deal at the moment, and he gave up two pretty high top prospects to get him in Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams. So like I have mixed views on that, but if the Mets can, and Bo Bichette has a 1 year opt after this year, he can choose to opt out. So you better re-sign those guys, or you're in the same boat as this past season, where you just lose your talent again, and you have to go spend or trade to get talent again. So the Mets need a long term goal or long term plan. At the moment, it's hard to see that because they let two of their top talents walk for not like they didn't even give Pete Alonso offers, so we don't even get a compensation draft pick for him. Edwin Diaz went and signed with the Dodgers. He just won back-to-back World Series, and the Dodgers just got that much better. So I don't understand why they let Pete Alonso walk, and to me, it just hangs over the entire offseason. Even with all the talent the Mets acquired, and everyone's saying the Mets are going to win 90 games, they can win the division. Some people picking them to win the World Series. I don't care. I that has hung over the entire offseason. As a fan, I have a right to be upset about it. I have a right to share my grievances, and I'm not happy with how this offseason unfolded. I don't care what talent we acquired. I don't care if our overall WAR as a team got better. I don't care about that. I really don't. I care about the legacy of the Mets. I care about my favorite player that was the best player on our team last year and has been a fan favorite for a while. And how we got rid of him, we traded away our best outfielder in Brandon Nimmo, which to shed some payroll, but we get a higher contract with Marcus Semien, who's a 35-year-old second baseman. Which and then we signed Jorge Polanco to replace Alonso. Polanco's not a first baseman; he's a middle infielder. Now he might be okay at first base, but I don't think he's going to be he's definitely not going to hit as well as Alonso. I think pitching wise, I think the Mets should be okay if the starting pitching can stay healthy. If Nolan McLean can be a breakout starter as well. And I think Bo Bichette's a great signing. If they had just re-signed Pete Alonso and brought back Edwin Diaz, I would say this is a team that could go out and win a World Series. I think this is a team with the talent and having enough time off from uh, losing Alonso and Diaz. I think the team is good enough it will make the playoffs. I don't think we're a division. I think we could win the division, but I think the Braves and Phillies would have to stumble. And I don't know if I see that. I think both of those teams are going to be really good. I think the Mets are probably a wild card team, and depending on how the starting pitching is, we'll see if they can maybe make a run. I don't. It's going to be hard to get past the Dodgers in the National League, and I just don't have enough confidence in this team. We let Jeff. Well, I should also say we let Jeff McNeil walk as well. So we lost a lot of the core talent from last year, and we didn't really address the biggest issue, which was starting pitching. Other than we went and got Freddie Peralta, we signed Devin Williams to be a closer. Who else we got? We also went out and got some other various arms and relief pitchers. I just don't know if we also released Frankie Montas in the offseason, which I can't blame that. He was not that good of a signing for us. Um, to me, I just feel like this is a team that I don't know. I think the Mets will be good. I don't think they'll be as good as they were a few years ago. I don't see them making it to the NLCS. I think we're a wild card team. I'm as time has gone along, I've grown excited for today's opening day. I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited. They're my favorite team. But I still have kind of this, just those feelings from the offseason of I don't see this team going far, and I will not be shocked to see them miss the playoffs. I really won't. I think if they were going to let Diaz and Alonso walk, they should have tore the whole team down and rebuilt. Because it, I just don't understand the logic with David Stearns and Steve Cohen, and they made themselves public enemy number one for Mets fans. There's a lot of Mets fans upset. There's other Mets fans that are kind of like, well, they chose to leave or whatnot. I understand that as well. But I was not happy with the offseason, but I am excited for the start of baseball, and I'm excited to see where the Mets go, how they play this year, how far can they go. Hopefully they can go all the way, but I think they're probably looking at maybe competing for a wild card. But I wouldn't be shocked to see us miss the playoffs again. But that's all I got in this video. I had to get those feelings out of the way for the Mets before the season started. Um, Let me know your thoughts down below. What were your thoughts on the Mets off season? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.